Welcome. This is a continuation from the number five. I do apologize for how it abruptly ended on number five, part one. Okay, so I'm hoping that you're still with me on this. Okay, so number five, there is so much to mention about number five because as we've said, it really is key. It is key, and perhaps as we go along, we will find out that all the numbers seem to be just as valuable. I don't know. But I think not. I think not in the sense that perhaps some has I think that some numbers have a higher vibration, meaning they carry like a key. I suppose, for instance, you could get into your house without a key, but then you probably would have to smash a window to get into your house. And so, saying this is that there is not just one way to get into the kingdom, so to speak. Hence, Christ gave so many different examples of getting into the kingdom. And of course, that's why we are asked to seek the kingdom. In fact, the word seek just come to mind. I think that's 10, 11, 12, 13. So the word seek is 13, which is 2 on the numerical value, on the numerical template as well. But 13, which coincides with Christ. But getting back to number 5, we see that 5 is number 5. Number 5 is key. Number 5 is also lock. I think I did that. That's 2, 3, 6, 3. So 2 and 5 and 3, 5, that's 11, 12, 13, 14. So there we see this is 14. And key, we have done key. Let's just key is 7, 5, 2. 7 and 5, 12 and 2, 14. So this is 14, 1 and 4 is 5. So we see lock and key is really one and the same. And so that's the power of Eve. Eve can be the lock, and Eve can be in fact, Eve is lock and key. Hence, we also see that was deposited in the word Adam too, in that sense that Adam, 4 and 1, which is 14, reflecting Eve, and 4 and 1. So we see this is 5, and this is also 5. And we can understand through that example, for instance, why it is said, or why we learn about Eve being of Adam. And I am not going to go into disputing this aspect of the story at all. I am just believing that there is enough evidence from, or when we say evidence, from teaching, from what we have learned before that happened from the first or second verse of Genesis chapter 1, that Eve was already present, and Eve is co-creator with God. Eve and God is one and the same in this instance. When it is said, and God looked upon the face of the deep, the word deep and deep, let's do deep, the face of the deep. So this is 7, 5, 5 and 4. So this is 10 and 7, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So deep is 21, which equals 3. We have worked with number 3, and we have seen how number 3 is also straight. It's also the numerical value for straight. It's for breast. It's that which has that formation. It's as if, for instance, okay, 3 is really molded to whatever you want it to be in that sense. It's like the piece of steel that you have a mechanic hits to form a certain shape, or again, it's also a key. You could say it's like a key, or the piece of steel that has been trimmed or has been heated or has been filed to form a certain shape. But what we see the difference is in because that was the deep hair at that sense, and of course when God looked. It's as if the nose looked onto the mouth. It's as if, because God, the numerical value for God is 8, and then we also have the numerical value for mouth being 5. So it's as if God looked upon the face of the deep, right through the deep, whatever is in the mouth, whatever comes out, whatever is shut or come out, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the deep. So that we see that there was and there the waters. This is where God divided the waters. So mouth and waters are really one and the same. Waters is that it's like you could hear someone speak, and there is such harmony in the tone of their voice. There is a sweetness, a honey. It's like we use a term, they've got sweet mouth. The words are so eloquent. There's such flow. You could actually see the words waving like music. It's like music to the ears. Of course, this is what when our husbands or boyfriends say something really sweet with their wonderful words, or a mother says something or compliments a child with wonderful words. It's like that honey. It's honey from the mouth. And I think the word honey, which I had been going about honey bee, I think it's 13, but nothing happens without honey as well. It's in that number 2, that which bonds. Okay, so 5, 5, 6, 8, and this is 12. Okay, so this is 5 at 5, 10, and 7, 17, 18, 19, 23, 23, 23, and 8 is 31. 31, yes. 23 and 8. Okay, 31. And so that would be 4, not 5, which I thought it was 13, but it's 31. But this takes us back to that 2. In the second, it's that beehive, where that beehive takes place anyway, in number 2. But back to number 5. We see that number 5 also holds that key to, as I say, it's that which has the control, of course, our movement, or it, while it may have its influence, like the serpent had this influence on Eve, if you like. There was a discussion. So it's like our brain and our mouth is having a dialogue, but we can choose for them to open the mouth or not. We can't say anything out loud, not out loud for another to hear, with our mouth being shut. And this is Eve, the ability to open our mouth, and the word open as well. Open equals 5. This is 5, 5, 7, and 6. This is 10, 17, 18, 19, 23. 23, 2 and 3 is 5. So we see there is so much to 5. So we could say, in fact, I think the word brain, I said that the brain and the mouth together. Let's look at brain. I think brain is number 8. BRAIN. And Of course, I like the IN. This is in the beginning. This is where that in. Okay, so 59192. Let's do this. So this is 9 plus 5 plus 9 is 14, 15, and this would be 24, 25, 26. So brain is 26. 2 and 6 equals 8. So there we are. It's as if we have, I believe that to be so, that we can draw the parallels to every aspect of our lives with or our makeup, whether it's biological, whether it's physical, whether it's spiritual, whether it's psychological. I believe that the teachings here in the scriptures have got all those different layers. That's what makes the Bible so beautiful, which is why I said it's like it really portrays the whole Bible in the word be, as I have showed in many of my presentations. So the word Bible is Bible, but I think the word is recondite. So we put a B here, this is B, this is I, this is B, Bible. And that's what happens. We have layers and layers of information of what is necessary for each person according to their makeup that they can relate to with the Bible. That is, now I am seeing the beauty of such a book, because in other contexts or other ways of looking at it, it has not moved me as much. It's like the things that didn't make sense to me. For instance, like the name change in for Sarah and Abraham. I'm going to make reference to that again. The name change there did not make sense to me until I encountered the numerical values and understanding the aha moments that was necessary, or the numerical value for laugh. When laugh was said twice in a text referring to Sarah, and Sarah laughed. So laugh is 22. And smile, of course, is 22. You can't do one without the other. Well, you can smile without laughing if you like, but you can't really laugh without having gone through a smile first. I think smile is a mini aspect of the what precedes a laugh. And so we saw that laugh was mentioned twice in this text, and Sarah laughed when God said that she would have a child, but laugh equals 22, and that was said twice. So that means 2 and 2, 4, and twice is 8. So that would be like Eve ate of the apple and her eyes was open, her eye was open, so she ate. So when there is that et or it, there is where life becomes, we see life or at a new, in a new way. In that new way is where that 5 is. It's that when you eat, it's you have unlocked, you've got the lock. It's that you have the lock and key. So it's like I say this is the key, also it equals open. Wouldn't Isn't this something that 5 really is the equation for open? It is the equation for the numerical value for open, the numerical value for lock and key. Doesn't that say something to us? Doesn't that say something about Mother Eve? And of course, mother equals 7, but we also read on how 7 is really meaning that cut, that division of two aspects. We see that in the story of God of creation in chapter 1 of Genesis and in chapter 2 of Genesis. It's as if there were two sets of that creation. It's like almost two sets. The story is being told almost in two ways. And that in itself tells us, gives the impression of two involved, at least two gods involved, or two entities involved, or two narrators involved. So this is really following on that there was two in the garden, two children were Cain and Abel, two sons with Abraham, Isaac, and Ishmael. So the twos were there so frequently in the Old Testament to really tell us or convey to us that yes, if we can also say that Christ came as the second Adam, there was also a second Eve. And so this is what is important for us to understand, that that second Eve had been, I'm presuming, so far I will say use the word presume, was the second Eve that we learned about, not the first Eve. That was from the second verse of Genesis of chapter 1. There was the first Eve. So here we see that that story, it's as if for us to find that key that we have been looking for, to know where we are going, it's that lock. It's like we have come to a place of wanting to move forward, yet still we do not have the combination to move forward. This is why I have felt that it was necessary to go back to the story of Adam and Eve. Now, that was done very intuitively. You would see that has evolved. It has evolved from my presentation of the word sacrifice. When Easter, it was Easter time, and I thought, well, it's Easter. Let's just see what we can do about Easter. Or have a. It wasn't planned as such, but because I just started doing my presentations, and I just felt, oh well, it's Easter time. It would seem make sense to have something about Easter, and it has not. I have not gone back from that point of to what was initially intended about actualizing self love, of course, but I had a different way or a different mindset of how I would go about actualizing self love through my own experience of my own journey. But now I am exploring this aspect of Mother Eve, of understanding how Mother Eve has impacted our lives, or how we have not allowed Mother Eve to impact our lives. We have just been seeing that we have been damaged children. We have taken on the same worldly notion that we have been traumatized by our abusive parents, and have not come to terms with understanding where they were coming from or their good intentions for us. We would not even have given it thought to think of the sleepless nights that they had just to care for us, just to feed us or send us to school. We were only thinking of things that we feel in comparison to others people's perspective or of what good parents are, for us to be able to make sense of our parents. We have not taken time to reflect on that, and this is why I am now really embracing this journey, really loving this journey of actualizing self love. How can I deny myself of what I am, or where I come from, or what I have been, or what I am endeavoring to be, if I do not acknowledge where my roots or where I'm coming from? And that is in all aspects of our lives. But I believe when we um, when we really go through the heart of the matter, I think the word matter actually is is matter. It might be 5 or 7, but let's see. I know matter is so this is 9522215. But I like the MA, the I am that I am. Yes, it's AM. So there we are. This is 14, 15, 16, 18, 18. This is meant to be for 18, 19, 23. So yes, so matter is actually, so the heart of the matter, the heart of Eve in this case. I'm glad I did this. Yeah, so we had not taken time to understand the heart of Eve. If we do not understand the heart of Eve, then we do not understand our relationship to Eve, or with Eve, or about Eve. And so this is why I am really embracing this wonderful depiction of Eve right here on our faces. This is the I am, the AM that I am. This is the nose, and God breathed is here. The mouth equals breathe. Mouth equals 5. Mouth and breathe. When I say a mouth equals breathe, but breathe and mouth has the same numerical value of 5. And of course, know. There's where the word know, note, the nose, who knows something. It's that it's and of course we learn about Eve, and she saw that the fruit was good, but it's after eating, but knowing, it's like the eyes are open. There is a consciousness of that which is. And this is what I really like with this. I really love it. I really love the idea that I am that. So I am that I am. So that THAT is 13, which we see keeps coming up. It's that is the points where we are, something just beautiful has come. We are connecting the dots. And it's no, I've just had this, I don't know why I didn't get it before. We are connecting the dots. Dots equals that. I have been saying it. I know I have, and perhaps it won't sound any different to how I've said it before. But now I am seeing that that is everywhere. Everywhere on our faces. Everywhere we are connecting the dots, but the dots are everywhere. It means that we are able to see God everywhere. We are able to be in the kingdom everywhere. The king, which is, we are able to be the king. We are able to be the dome that constitutes all things. So I'm going to have another presentation on this, and so just to have them in bite sizes, of course. Well, having a good lunch, really. It's okay. And well, I hope you have enjoyed this. I hope you have found it fun. If you like this, click the like button and share, because this is how we do it. We share to actualizing self-full love. Stay blessed, stay bright, be a field, because we are planting new seeds, and stay ignited. Namaste. And spill over with love.